What was the relationship with you or TNA or anybody like with Dixie Carter once she sort of hit the bricks? Was there ever any communication back and forth? I know she still talks to some talent here and there, but was there any like even a loose connection or discussion?
I mean, look, Dixie was the president when I first came in here, and came into TNA in 2000 and was 2003, I think, early 2003, and worked with her for many years. Was part of that interesting dynamic that if you ever want to hear about, you can check out Jeff Jarrett's podcast. He's got some real interesting podcasts about the political dynamics in the TNA office. But Dixie was, she gets slagged a lot. And you can sit there and say, "Hey, some of it's justified." There's one thing that is certainly a an indisputable fact, and that's Dixie loved TNA wrestling, and everything that Dixie did, she was trying to do what she thought was best for TNA wrestling. And also Dixie has a heart. I'll tell the story. I was in the Nashville office one day when I got a phone call, and my father had I can't remember if it was a heart attack or a stroke. And I mean, I was just shaking. And when I walked back into the room, Jeff could tell right away. And he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was choked up and I could barely get the words out. And he's like, "Go see Bob Ryder, who did our travel." And he's like, "Get home." Dixie followed me out of the office door as I was going to Bob's office from the conference room. And she goes, "Don't worry about having Bob book you a ticket. My dad's jet's in town. It'll fly you anywhere you need to
Oh
go."
wow.
Um, so that type of commitment to the people around here is commendable, right? Like there's no reason for her to have to do that, but that was her first thought without even hesitation. So I'll always appreciate that type of kindness. And then also, like, look, there was a story one time. Kenny, when he was carrying when he had all the titles, didn't like to carry the belts, so they put him on the production truck. And when Kenny had to fly to Nashville, I think it might have been for that Slammiversary. Um, the belts were actually somewhere on the highway in one of the production trucks and not near the back.
Oh no.
So so we had to like figure it out. So what we ultimately ended up doing is Dixie had a replica, like a perfect replica. Like
Oh
it was one of the
wow.
original TNA world titles. And I sent some folks to her place, and she met two people she had had never seen before, like they said, with like the warmest hugs, and like chatted with them and handed over the belt, because we were able to find a copy of the one belt, but we couldn't find the other, and Dixie ultimately ended up providing it. So I enjoyed being able to be the facilitator um, at that Slammiversary show in Nashville at the fairgrounds a couple of years ago, where we took that photo of Ed Nordholm, Billy Corgan, and Dixie Carter
Yes.
together. I thought that was a cool shot to kind of say, "Hey, it's business, and sometimes business doesn't go great and it doesn't end great,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that there can't still be a future with respect for each other." And that photo meant a lot to me, because I've dealt with all three of them, Dixie and Ed certainly more than Billy, but I thought it was great to have all three of them there and take that photo. And at the time, those were your three, TNA presidents in history. So I thought that was pretty cool. So like to me, Dixie's always been a friend of the house. And like you can knock Dixie for some of her stuff running the company, and fans do, and that's their right. But anyone who thinks Dixie did anything other than what she thought was best is mistaken on that. And she did some good. Let's be honest. TNA wrestling does not make it out of 2003 without Dixie Carter.
Hmm.
So if you're a TNA wrestling fan today, you owe at least an appreciation for what Dixie did and her belief in the company. And and she used all of her efforts for all the years she was here to try to make it as good as she can make it. So